According to MagicGuide.com, after Disney World, Disneyland is the most visited theme park, consisting of 18 million guests every year. You can use this method for all future trips you plan, whether if you want to go to Hawaii or maybe Disney World. I've been to Disneyland several times. I go to Disneyland at least once every year. At the end of this speech, you will learn how to plan a trip to Disneyland. To plan a trip to Disneyland, you must first book your hotel tickets ahead of time and purchase your airplane tickets ahead of time. Second, you must purchase your park tickets ahead of time. And lastly, you must plan your itinerary for each day you are going to be at the park. What rides you're going to go on, what activities you're going to do, and what food you're going to eat and where. Last year, when my boyfriend and I went to Disneyland, we booked our hotel tickets ahead of time and we purchased our airplane tickets ahead of time. We were able to get the hotel we want, which was only a mile away from the park, walking distance. We were also able to sit together on the plane and board first. When planning a trip to Disneyland, you must book your hotel tickets in advance and purchase your airplane tickets in advance. Booking your hotel tickets in advance saves you money and you get a better selection. The closer the hotel is to the park, the more expensive that hotel is going to be. According to the HuffPost article, Caroline Bologna, a New York reporter who graduated from Brown, states, "Generally, we find hotel rates are cheapest in early January and February, after peak holiday travel season winds down. Next, you must purchase your airplane tickets ahead of time. Purchasing your airplane tickets ahead of time saves you money and you could get good seats." Last year, when we went to Disneyland, we bought our hopper passes ahead of time. This allowed us to go just straight into the park. We didn't have to wait in any lines. Next, when planning your trip to Disneyland, you should always buy your park tickets ahead of time. And then you need to decide whether you want to go to the park for 2, 3, 4, or 5 days. Then you need to decide whether you want a regular pass or a hopper pass. Disneyland consists of 2 parks, Disneyland California Adventure and Disneyland. A regular pass allows you to go to the park for 2 to 5 days, but you can only go to 1 park per day. A hopper pass lets you go back and forth from each park each day. If you don't go to the park during the holidays, which is the off-season, the park is a lot less crowded. October and December are 2 of the most crowded months because they decorate for the holidays, Halloween and Christmas. Weekends are also really crowded because parents might not have work and children don't have school. According to the USA Today news article, Holly L. Roberts, a professional writer for 10+ years, states, "March, April, and September are the best times to visit Disneyland. Crowds will start to thin out." Last year when we went to Disneyland, we planned our itinerary for each of the days we were going to be at the park. When planning a trip to Disneyland, you need to next plan your itinerary. What rides you want to go on, what activities you want to do, and what foods you want to eat and where. First, you must choose what rides you want to go on and in what order. Fast passes are a really good idea for the longer rides, such as Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, and Space Mountain. In the meantime, while waiting for your fast pass, it's a good idea to go on some of the smaller rides, such as Anything in Fantasyland, Pirates of the Caribbean, since it doesn't have a fast pass line, it's a lot quicker to go through, or maybe Winnie the Pooh. Next, you must choose what other activities you want to do, such as parades, or shows, or fireworks. World of Color and Fantasmic are 2 really great shows. If you don't like watching fireworks or shows or have seen them before, it's a good idea to go on some of the big rides in the meantime because the lines are going to be a lot shorter, such as maybe the Matterhorn, Splash Mountain, or Space Mountain, or maybe Indiana Jones. or you can visit the shops. I, for instance, really love Wall-E, so I picked up this notebook at the store at Disneyland. It's a Wall-E journal. Also, I bought this Wall-E hat. Next, you choose whether you want to eat inside the park or outside the park. Eating inside the park can be really expensive. And eating outside the park is a lot less expensive, but you will have a lot less park time. According to the Los Angeles Magazine article, A.J. Wolf, owner of the Disney Food blog, states that some of the best foods at Disneyland are churros and Dole Whip. Overall, when planning a trip to Disneyland, it is best to plan and spend ahead. You save money and time. When planning a trip to Disneyland, you need to buy your airplane tickets ahead of time and book your hotel ahead of time. You also need to buy your park tickets ahead of time and plan your itinerary, what you're going to do with each day. Today I've talked about planning a trip to Disneyland and giving you tips on how to save money and time. Overall, Disneyland is always going to be expensive, but if you plan ahead, you'll save time and money and frustration.